go to work and see.
Okay, if you
I'm
can bring
always
me
on the
some more,
lookout.
you bring me some by Monday. What else do you want to tell me?
Well, I want to ask you about Francine Dancer. When did you meet Francine?
I met Francine Dancer doing her public access show. She was a dancer. She was and I asked her if she could be on my show. She was from Wisconsin. I lived in Wisconsin. I used to live in Waupaca, Wisconsin, and Wild Rose, Wisconsin. And when I was a kid, used to take a railroad. That started my liking for trains. Would you like to see models of my trains?
Was it quick? Because we
It's
gotta
quick.
get going.
I'm gonna tell you the history. What got me into
I'm not
Wisconsin.
gonna rush.
They had this train that ran from Milwaukee to Chicago called the Chicago North Shore and Milwaukee Railroad. And this is what.
We'll go where there's
We
more
should go into
lights.
a good light. Mm.
Be careful, my train track. This started my interest in trains. I would always go. I'm gonna tell you, there's a history what happened to me with this North Shore train. This train ran from Milwaukee to Chicago. It was called the Chicago North Shore and Milwaukee Railroad. And when it got to Chicago, it ran right on the L structure with the L.
Mm-hmm.
And as a kid, I always wanted my grandmother Schroeder to take me on the North Shore. So she gave me money on my birthday in the 60s to take the North Shore. I didn't know that as a minor you couldn't cross state line. So I got arrested for crossing state line from going from Illinois to Chicago.
What year
As a
was
minor.
this?
It was 1962.
Isn't Chicago in Illinois?
Well, Wisconsin isn't.
Oh, okay. I thought you said.
See, the Chicago North Shore and Milwaukee Railroad ran from Milwaukee, Wisconsin to downtown Chicago, and it ran on the Chicago L structure.
Wow.
And and then my mother later on let me take the North Shore to the 4-H camp. But I've got 300 models of trains. I never have time to run them doing my cable show, and this is brass.
So you've been collecting trains since then?
Since I was a kid in the 50s.
Jumping back to Francine Dancer. So you met her before the public.
Oh, I didn't know she was in public access because she used to do stand-up comedy like me.
Mm-hmm.
And and she said she was from Wisconsin. I said, oh, I love anybody that's from the Midwest because I'm from the Midwest. And so I told her instead of being stand-up comedy, she should do her own public access show. And so she's been doing her own public access show for 5 and 6 years. She's very talented.
Do you
But
think it's too sexy or no?
Well, I feel well, sex is beautiful. It's the dessert of the relationship, and dating is the main course, the meat and potatoes. But I wish I could find a nice lady to date, but I know it'll happen. I just have to let patience have her perfect work.
Do you have a copy of you said you had an ad in the paper, right? Did you run a personal ad or not?
Yeah, I was running personal ads in a paper. I don't know where they are,
Okay.
but I ran a personal ad. It said, "You could be my dream come true. I'm a single gentleman interested in dating you. If you're interested in dating a handsome black actor that doesn't smoke and drink, a woman of any race, but I prefer an attractive blonde."
Did you mention anything like that you're into the puppets? Did you mention that?
I
or?
mentioned it sometimes.
Yeah. And what's the response?
Well, the girls will call me and then they tell me they're going back to their boyfriend. They're doing it to get even with their. Like I had a girl that was on my show and she said her boyfriend wasn't paying her too much attention, so she wanted to make him jealous, and she answered my ad.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her I didn't want to date her because I don't want to get in any trouble.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I think we're done.
Yeah, probably.
Tell me how you got into trains.
Huh?
Tell me how you got into trains.
Oh, my favorite train was the Chicago North Shore and Milwaukee Railroad. It ran from Milwaukee to Chicago. And my grandmother and my mother took me downtown in the 50s, and I'd see this red and green train that coming on the Chicago L. It was like a very upper-class passenger train, and it took a lot of the rich people took it to work into Chicago from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I just was fascinated by this train. And my grandmother Schroeder gave me money to ride it on my birthday, and I didn't know it was against the law to cross state line to go from Milwaukee, from Chicago, from Illinois to Milwaukee, and I was arrested as a child for crossing state line on the Chicago North Shore and Milwaukee Railroad. And
Well, why is it why was it illegal?
I don't know. They don't want a minor traveling on his own, and I was a little boy in the 50s.
Now, every time you've got train sets at home, you know, pictures and videos.
I have
trains,
videos
it
of
seems
trains.
To bring you back to your childhood.
They bring me back to childhood. I have 900 videos of trains, and my favorite is the Chicago North Shore and Milwaukee Railroad. And the thing I didn't like is they lied and said the railroad went out for a lack of money when it had plenty of riders. When they went out, they had 32,600 riders. And I found out that the Chicago Northwestern and the Burlington and the Milwaukee Road bought into it because they didn't like the competition and they pulled it out.
Right. Now, just talking about trains and stuff, does it bring you back to a happy time in your life?
It brings the youth in me. It brings me back when I like Francine Dancer says, I want to be 16 because I think 16. What you think about, you bring about. And it makes me younger running those trains. It reminds me when I was 10 years old and I was taking that North Shore and seeing it as a kid. I wish the North Shore was back. It brings back a lot of memories to me. But I take out the videos and the models of it and brings back memories.